Hi folks! So we have a game for you from our 8 Regents match against Night's Watch, and Steven has been kind enough to record this one for us since two games we had were played at the same time, and he's playing the Fate Militant here against Ivan playing Night's Watch Knights of the Realm, so that's an interesting one. And let's see. Okay, getting Discord messages as well. So we have a couple of small characters, which makes for easy setups with this deck. Setting up Sir Courtney and Silent Sisters with King's Gate, and we have the two knights for Night's Watch, neutral ones, Lin and Lem. And both players going for the initiative here with the Maiden. Now, Fate Militant is an interesting one. It's an agenda that hasn't really done very well since it was released all those years ago. It has the downside that non-7 cards cannot gain power, but then it potentially gets you an extra power if you can win a challenge with the 7 character participating. And the Baratheon synergies with this trait do exist. There is the Holy 100, there is Bonifer the Good, which you can see in Steven's hand here. So the team is definitely playable, and even without the Fate Militant agenda, I think this is a decent deck. And definitely we saw in recent months Argento playing a Bara Fate Militant deck that did very well. So even starting with a duped Hollow Hill, which should give him some nice card draw and more neutral stuff coming in. Yeah, and there are some knights in Night's Watch, it's possible to play them, but really I would expect this to be focusing more on the neutrals here with this agenda, which I'm sure if they had the opportunity they would consider trading away. But they're stuck with it, and this game is of course irrelevant. So we had 4 games already, this is game 5, and the first 3 recorded on this channel, and then the 4th one I can put a link in the description. I did record my game against Sam, but it was streamed as well with commentary from Zinnie and Connor, so we can I'll give you a link to that one if you want to watch it. And if someone really wants to see it from my perspective, to see my hand, I can make that available at some point as well. And since I'm recording this commentary later, I can also tell you that we have the other 2 games that are still remaining also recorded, so you can watch all 7 of this week's games. And we have Bonifer in play. Now he of course gives all infection characters insight here, those with the 7 trait, and currently that is just himself, but I'm sure more to come. And taking the reducer for claim. Now Lin does stand if you initiate a power challenge, and he does have the icon. That's potentially going to cause some problems, but Steven has some strength in the power challenge here, and he has Sir Courtney, who of course is keeps standing if you are able to win them. Going for the intrigue here as well. And I think this one might be let go. Hitting the Archivist may as well trigger him, he is the only card. Yeah, he's a good character. He can definitely do some work against some decks, and maybe against Night's Watch. The expectation was that there could be some recruiting going on from the discard pile, or decks that draw like crazy. I usually would include this. I know Mammer's Farce can get some ridiculous draw, and some Blackwater Bay decks can draw really well in Baratheon, so better to be safe. Although a bit difficult to discard him on demand, you need to be over reserve. There are no other tricks like that. And now let's see, he's passing this. He doesn't want the power on this particular character. And hitting Jeremy Riker. Now if he does a power challenge, Lyn will stand. And he will be able to defend that. Looking at the attachment for a possible blank. So Courtney doing military, and that leaves Bonifer. And when Bonifer kneels, you can use Brothers Robes to blank the attachment, and that should get rid of the power icon, which means Lyn cannot defend. Nice interaction, and he could now trigger the agenda to get power on Bonifer, who is more likely to stick around, and of course he has insight as well, so he did this one really nicely. Nice sequence. Although there is Tolerance Fiefdom in place, so whoever had the power, it can be put onto the faction card. Usually you would do that, unless there is some benefit to having it on a character. And that Brothers Robes seems like it will be annoying for Ivan's deck here. A quick look at the plot deck. So we have all the 7 stuff, makes sense. Yeah, the crown also really nice with the 7 trait, because a lot of the characters have a printed strength of 1, or sometimes it's X. As you can see, the Holy 100 is going to have a decent strength, but the printed strength is actually 1, so it's protected by the crown, and there are some other effects. I think is it Septon Marigold that can stand several characters with printed strength 1. Now Jeremy Riker was added with the Hollow Hill, and now searching for an attachment here as well, and finding a King's Road, which might have been the intention, but I suspect not, because he already has 2 economy locations. This time Stephen forced to go first, which messes with his plan a little bit, because he can't use the agenda now, and also get power claim. There isn't enough power to steal. And no dupes, unfortunately, but could get the assault army here, and it would be able to assault the Hollow Hill. And yeah, with this much gold, would be a good opportunity to play the Begging Brother and load it up fully. Just looking at the 7 pointed star, so that gives the trait, has an ability as well, but the trait giving, I think, is more important at this point. Now what does he want to do here? Begging Brother with 2 gold. Yeah. Nice spread of icons, has a bit of cancel, a bit of blanking, and this is a good position. But here comes a duplicate, and that brings its own advantage, of course. Being able to play resets, although Night's Watch Knights may be not going for that Morgulis, I would suspect. Ghost of Highheart is increasing the strength of everyone. And now the trigger could possibly be cancelled if Steven is worried about his hand, but seems like he could lose any of these characters or cards and be happy with replacement. So maybe not even worth bothering about that one. And is he considering just passing this one, since there is no power to steal? Yeah. And whatever is done on defense here, of course, can still benefit him. The agenda still works on defense, and the insight on the two characters helpful as well. Although he did give away the opportunity to assault the Hollow Hill by not doing a challenge here. Yeah, and even just passing, might have been able to push something through, but there was that risk of Steven triggering the agenda on defense, so fair enough. And let's see what the Hollow Hill does. Maybe he was going to pass, still worth triggering the ghost. What's the problem now? Did he pass by mistake? Ah, that's unfortunate. Now, did he have any challenges or just the ghost trigger? That's the question. So, it's worth considering, I think, only the challenges that he can do safely without triggering the agenda. Yeah. That's unfortunate. So I can consider that a wasted round. And Steven not triggering Stormland's Fiefdom. We'll see if that has some kind of consequence later in the game or not. I don't think having power on characters matters at any point in this particular deck. So two resets here, and does he want to do this? Seems like a big board is helping him, but doesn't want to get stuck with it, so maybe play that early. Also looking at Dohaeris, and then he has the 3/7 plots, all with good gold. There's one 2-claimer, one that protects against some resets on certain characters, but currently the crown not that useful. Only 2 characters with strength 1. The smith can kneel locations if you kneel your attachment, so that also could stop the economy and Hollow Hill for a round potentially. Indecisive here, so going for the Harris against the Smith, and this time Ivan can the locations, but they're not doing a lot, so now will he use it here, the fiefdom, before it gets snelled, or does he just not care about it? We'll see. And you can now make a calculation to keep 3 important characters. Unfortunately, he has no dupes here. So, oh, actually, I was thinking the Mad King's Command was revealed. Sorry, doesn't matter then. He can keep the 3 characters and play out more stuff, and then try to win before he's forced into that Mad King's Command. And even making his choice here, he is a bit stuck if he keeps Lyn, because that only gets him 1 other character. He could have gone for 3 instead by picking the 3 costers. And Steven's choice much easier. Seems like there is some lag in the game. Now he has another chance to use the fiefdom before it gets snelled. And Sparrows in this deck can steal some power. Very strong in the late game. If it's a slow game that goes to time, makes a huge difference. And Devan I'm not sure about. I associate him obviously with Throne and Chamber always, but maybe in this deck it's not a thing. Now he uses it in the marshalling phase, looking at what the Smith does, and finally realizing that he can take that power onto his faction card. And Sworn to the Watch. Now what does that do exactly? Gives him the affiliation and some traits. But still think that the power icon is gone if Bonifer kneels. Or can Jeremy can possibly give icons. And another unusual character, Sir Dennis Mallister, so I guess that's one of the knights you can find in Night's Watch. And now what to do with the 6 gold? I would expect 2 characters to come in here. He could go for just the 1, but he has some insight, so maybe I could play out 2 and then try to trigger or get a challenge where Bonifer gets some insight. Okay, plays out 2 cards anyway with Bastard of Nightsong and the attachment. Now that gives him the trait, if I'm not mistaken, so he too can grab some power if the agenda is triggered. And now any power that is gained is in serious danger of being lost. With power claim, the Bastard of Nightsong trigger, and also the agenda trigger. And this one will be defended because he doesn't have that much claim, so can why give it away? And this time it's not going to work. Yeah, so Sworn to the Watch gives him the Ranger trait, and I think Jeremy gives Rangers power icon, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not that familiar with Night's Watch cards, and I can't highlight them here, but I think that's what is happening. So he is losing the one instance that Lady Forlorn gives him, but he still has the other instance from Sir Jeremy. Okay. Easy to miss. Yeah, he's giving him the ranger trait because he has the military icon, of course. That's what Sworn to the Watch does. Yeah, he is a ranger. Hmm. Come on, read the card, Steven. Impressive, actually, for Lynn to still have that power icon after he doesn't have a printed one and the one gets blanked, but still he manages to have it, and that's very welcome for the Night's Watch deck here. And yeah, agenda triggered on defense again, and inside taken. But now this one cannot be successfully defended, so he's not bothering because he can take both or 2 power from the faction card, and he prefers to attack here. Get some quick power himself, which is very sensible. Now I think Sir Denis gets renown while defending or something like that, but shouldn't be able to defend successfully. But Lean still a problem, so if you do other challenges first, you are safe from him. And then he would stand for the third one. I'm just making that calculation now. And if it is possible to assault Hollow Hill, maybe he could just go for that military if the power is not on, and then actually the stand can be cancelled, can't it, with Begging Brother. Okay, so assaulting it on the power challenge, not bothering with the others, and he's going to cancel the stand here. Or is he? Does he have enough strength? That's 12, and yeah, 12 against 12, so doesn't need to cancel it. And we have 2 non-neutral characters with the 7th right in this one as well, and that's going to draw more cards with Bonifer. Bonifer for me was one of the biggest disappointments in the first pack released by the design team, the Forgotten Heroes, because he didn't seem to find his way into any decks. The 7 deck didn't really work, but it works now. With the Holy 100, suddenly it's possible to spread some of that insight around, and this deck looking good. So definitely one that was a bit ahead of its time. And now even thinking about defending this, so is it worth preventing the win by 5? Doesn't bother, he should win dominance in any case. And another power grabbed. That makes 6. And 2 more cards drawn, and we have 2 sparrows, so those can just passively take some power. So if you get anywhere close to winning, those could be used. Now what's happening here? He can't possibly do anything else, so dominance and Hollow Hill is knelt. Now let's see if he uses the fiefdom this time. Silent Sister's pretty strong, and will it be the small army? I would consider Devan here. He is not really needed. Doubt he can find Throne and Chamber here. I'm guessing it's likely there to find the Starry Sept or maybe the Red Keep, which don't have that great timing, because they are a bit late if they come in dominance. And now maybe... No, this all good options. He could go for the 2 claimer. The Mad King's command is not that bad at the moment, although lots of cards in hand. And he just goes for the Smith, which is pretty neutral, not doing any harm, and can nil 1 location before anything else happens by going first, and that could be King's Road or the Vault. And then he can get the other attachment back after the other economy location is triggered, and just get that Hollow Hill as well if he likes, although he has a good chance of assaulting that again. And again, even here is stuck with the 2 characters, because Lyn is just a little bit overcosted for this sequence of Duharis plays. 5 and 4 capped. If he was 4, maybe he could have kept the 2-3 cost characters instead and had a bit more board. But he has a decent hand, so should have stuff to play out. And all of these characters still alive. And plenty of gold. The first thing you should do is trigger the Smith. Unless, of course, Brothers Robes needs to kneel for its effect, but I don't think so. I think it just passively triggers without kneeling after the attached character kneels. Okay, and missed it. He can get the King's Road at least, so same thing, because the other one would have been used, I'm sure, after the Smith nailed the first one. He can get 2 more if he likes. Poor Fellows and Jingle Bell, maybe. Maybe stick that Sparrows in Shadows for rainy days. Or something else. Okay, another Holy 100, of course, that has insight. And another Swan on Lyn. Now, is that doing anything? Can't see all of the attachments exactly. he is 9 strength with several instances of a power icon now. Yeah, could just do a big power challenge with the minimum that is required to actually win it. And let's see how much there is on defense. Should be 18 on defense. Yeah, so he needs all the characters except one, and then Sir Courtney would stand. So wouldn't be completely knelt out. And he is not liking this. And now I do see one potential use of that Stormlands Fiefdom, of course. There is power on Lyn, and if the power is running out on the faction card, you can use it on the opponent to put it back onto the faction card and be able to steal it. Now he's thought about it again and still going for that power challenge. There's no way around it. He has to commit everyone except one character, I think. This will be 16. No, okay. Can he blank some strength? Can't blank the icon. I don't think he can. Yeah, should be 18. If he blanks Longclaw, it will be 17. So Ivan can win this on defense, but it doesn't solve his problems. There's still a character that can then win an unopposed power challenge. Getting rid of Sir Courtney, so looks like he won't be trying to win on defense. Yeah, I was going to say Steven could just do a military challenge with the army and still trigger the agenda, and that would be unopposed, and it would be gaining some more power, and there wouldn't be much left for the counterattack either. So he's going to partially defend this one, just the one character. And here we go. Now still has to store that power on a character that is not protected, whatever he does, and going for a different one this time. And 2 insight again for Bonifer. Yeah, he is definitely one you could nightmares, but at this point it's already late because the hand is so healthy here. 8 cards, 8 reserve. And this one cannot be defended. Yeah, Sparrows, one of the better ones, probably some decent hit. And now let's see. He has to invest Lyn here in this one, and leaving this one unopposed so that Lamb cannot do the military challenge successfully. And if he passes, which he should do, then Steven wins dominance. He's doing it anyway, so forces a defense, but Steven happy to defend because Gets him more of that insight. Another 2 cards drawn. Now, there aren't that many non-neutral, the 7 cards, obviously. If you want to do a banner, you can find something in Tyrell as well. But mono Baratheon, you get Bonifer and you get the Holy 100. So good to have both of them here, or 2 of the 3, because that really helps with the insight. But then you have the King's Man, which is a really bad character that actually has an ability relating to Neil, and you won't play it in Neil either because it doesn't have the Relord trait, so a really bad army character that doesn't seem to fit anywhere. So you won't be playing that. But any new character with the 7th trait that is released in Baratheon, of course, makes this deck even stronger. And now we have the Crown, which would have kept a couple of characters against Morghulis, for instance. And yeah, the downside now is, of course, that if military challenge is won against Steven, he cannot claim the Holy 100 or something like Poor Fellows or Jingle Bells, so he would need to pick one of the bigger ones, but maybe we see Davos being played anyway this round. And Ivan goes first with his tourney, which is a common closer plot, but doesn't have enough characters to do Harry's place, including his own, which reduced the board a little bit. If he had 8 knights, for instance, here, then things could go in a dangerous way. But the board is too small to really do any damage, and yeah, just getting more power for the faction card to be possibly stolen. Cold Hands would have been nice, but Begging Brother still has the 2 gold. Overlook that. Since Stephen wasn't cancelling anything before. Easy to forget. And we have the Red Keep, which helps with power challenges and draw. Absolutely not needed, it seems, in this game. I wonder if Storm's End could also be considered in this deck, since it has such a strong presence in the power challenge. I don't think Steven plays it. It's not being played that often, to be fair. People are still trying to figure it out. I've tested it in several decks and I really like it, but yeah, people are reluctant to go with that because it's such an expensive location that always in danger of not really getting you that value of 5 gold to compensate for the tempo hit. And now we have Jingle Bell made into the 7 character as well, and this time will the attachment actually be used for once? Let's see. It will. That should bring in Poor Fellows for free. No gold left for Privileged Position or Sparrows, but that is something that is still to come next round. This time Lynn goes for intrigue. Now he has 2 instances of the power icon, but traitor to the crown now, so he won't be contributing strength. A lot of fight for that power icon on Lyn throughout this game, and seems like this is the definitive answer now from Steven. Sir Davos discarded, but he's got another Bonifer now, and 2 plots left. So if he was, if Ivan was forced to reveal Morghulis, which, yeah, currently it's not too bad because he is the one that has a dupe. Bonifer could potentially survive, but I think it would be the next plot and not the last one, so then it becomes a dead draw for Steven. He's targeted the hand really nicely, but unfortunately for him, Bonifer is going to do a bunch of damage again now. Now does he risk it? Just puts in an extra character just in case this time, even though it's the assault one. So he will be conceding the Hollow Hill. Yeah. And this time this should go on goes on Sir Norton. It should go on Bonifer. And then if he has a reset, hand is not so big for Steven, but now it's 3 cards drawn. Now does Sir Courtney also have the trait currently? Not sure exactly what the attachment is on him. He does, so 4 cards drawn. And all in all, not that great. So if Morghulis is revealed, he has 2 dead characters and only 2 that are still alive. And Sparrows in Shadows, so still a good position, but not that bad for Ivan, who has a surviving character and whatever he grabs for the Hollow Hill. But now also we should get 2 challenges back here. Cancelling Lyn. So that he can do the intrigue one as well. Makes sense. We'll know if Morghulis is in the deck in a second. Let's him draw a card. So I'm guessing it's not. Yeah, he won't be playing Knights of Knights with Dohaeris and Morghulis in the plot deck. That would be unusual for sure. And here comes the intrigue challenge. And I think he protected the red keep as well, so he'll be getting 2 cards back for that. Okay. Both cards gone. Florian and Jonquil not doing anything. Guess that was to be used if he managed to push a challenge through, which he didn't. And this time, just in case, he's going to grab 2 power back, 1 in dominance and then 1 in the standing phase. Or taxation. No, he is not. Okay, never mind. And going for the 2 claimer to finish things off against another attorney. So he had 2 opportunities. Yeah, if he If he was dominating on the board state, this would have likely closed it. Although in this instance he's actually losing initiative against the warrior. So Steven goes first on 11. And yeah, it has the agenda trigger but no printed renown anywhere, so not that easy to close for him. Also Sparrows. Fate's Decree makes complete sense in this deck. Now, what I would do possibly is just to play the 2 red priests, and it should be game. Let's cancel the economy as first thing, of course, because that can always be immediately triggered. Could have also just looked at this to see if there is anything the Fate's Decree should have done instead. And yes, so Begging Brother gone, and what else? One of the knights, because Ghost is already in play. And probably keep the gold for Sparrows. Yeah, let's make this one 7th rated as well, so that's another one that has the insight currently. Yeah, if the board is not controlled, this gets pretty crazy with all the draw and all the strength increases. And I think we saw Hano playing this in one of the nationals, possibly Norwegian, a few months back, with the Crossing. He played kind of a 7 deck with some of these strategies, I think, if I remember correctly. So definitely works regardless of the agenda. And it will have problems if lots of resets are played and the board is not as wide, but in this particular game, absolutely dominating. Power. The agenda would be 13, and it's to claim as well, so if he can win it, it should be game over. And let's blank some strength boost just in case. Maybe target that long claw again. Although of course traitor stops Lina anyway. Pretty decent defense, to be fair. Not that far away of being able to defend it, especially if Lin could also participate, but not quite enough. And this should be 15. And then the game ends immediately before grabbing another 4 cards for insight here for Steven, so never running out of resources really. Although still Morghulis killing those red priests would make it interesting. Okay, so thanks to Steven for recording this game for us. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.